Alright, so a lot of people might be wondering, for new players, what is rotation? So, Pokemon operates in standard, meaning that the tournament legal sets, each and every set will rotate in 2 years. To make it a bit easier, Pokemon actually adds these letters to the bottom of their cards, so every 2 years, one of these letters leave. What that means is that every 2 years we'll lose a bunch of cards as we gain cards to keep a lot of cards from interacting with each other, so we won't have too much broken or unintended or a way too powerful deck or format. So recently, the most recent letters would be I that you're seeing here, and the oldest letters would be G that you would see. Let's go scan base here. All cards that have G will be rotating because they all came out in the same year. So all of these Gs are rotating, and that would be in April. What that means is they'll no longer be eligible for standard legal tournaments. Not that they don't have value, not that you won't be able to use them or anything like that. They're extended formats and a lot of other ways to use them, or even just for a collection. But for the purpose of tournaments and standard, you won't be able to use them anymore. The same goes for this is PTCG Live. Yeah, you'll have to redo the decks, meaning any decks that have these cards with G will no longer be legal, so you can't play them on the ladder until you replace them with something that's legal. So, as an example, I started playing during this Sun Moon era. So I have a couple of cards from the Sun Moon era. As you can see, my collection not as extensive. I literally have 0 champions part, well, not 0, I have 2 champions part cards. Right? And I believe that might just be Charizard and Leon's Charizard and Leon himself. Even less is a Swablu. Damn. Swablu and Suspicious Fruitin. That is it. That is the only things I want from this set. If you look here, these are D, meaning these rotated D, E, F, 3 cycles ago. Sometimes cards can go past rotation because they are printed into standard. An example of this is like Boss's Orders and Switch and all those things, because they were printed in many different sets, so you have different letterings for them. Sometimes what happens is there are particular mechanics like these, the Radiant mechanics, that are only unique to that year. So currently what we have is the ACESPEC lot. So because we have this ACESPEC lot, our ACESPECs will all rotate together. I learned recently that they are actually H, meaning they'll be rotating in the following year. And during that year, we should also get our new gimmick mechanic. That's the thing that you only have one of in your deck. Who knows, Radiance might come back, they might do something new, we can't say yet. But the reason I'm going through this older set is I'm looking for a good example. A good example might be Snorlax. Those who were older players, there was a block Snorlax deck. You play Snorlax and you stick a Pokemon, they're unable to retreat, and you win by attrition. So this deck, on last rotation, was gone. As you can see, it's F, gone. So, yes, you will lose some cards for your deck. You might actually lose the main card for your deck. You might only know Charizard. You might only know Gardevoir. But there are other things. So an example of cards that rotate but have other versions that are very much in line. See this one's F. That means this would have rotated, but it was reprinted under G, H, and I believe. So it is still in standard. And don't mind, because it's in standard, you can use any art you like. Even if this says F, because there's a reprint, you will be able to actually use this. So any card that has a version that is in the current letters, you'll be able to use them. So an example would be, let's use this. This is my test deck for rotation and explanations here. Let's go back to rare candy. Right, so let's type in rare. There we go. So now we have rare candy. If you look at rare candy, the most recent one here, as you'd see, this G, see a I here, see a H, and a G. Wait, was that a G or a K? That's a G. But if you go even further back, you can see there's rare candy printed in D. So, not all your cards are going to be lost. There's actually a list already printed to show us the cards we're losing and the cards we're getting. Over here, I have some examples of cards that we'll be losing during the next rotation, because all of these cards were not reprinted at all. Another example, I want to use Arvin because I am unsure if there was an Arvin reprinted besides G, right? So G, let's go back, G, G, G. So unfortunately, all of our Arvins are G, meaning this is going to rotate. So add that to the list. And that's basically what rotation is. This happens for Pokemon and happens for your trainers. It also happens to energy, but basic energy always in cycle because they're printed every single set. But some of these special energies, they have letters on them, as you can see here. So jet energy is also G, so this will be rotating as well. So everything. What I typically do is I actually go through my cards and I start replacing them or putting replacements before rotation and collecting them. So that way, when rotation happens, I just do the swap and I don't have too much trouble. Or a couple weeks before rotation, I start practicing with the cards that are available and I take the rotated cards out my deck so that I won't have to fight up and switch, and I get at least a 2 weeks practice before the actual rotation hits. So that's basically what rotation is. That's how I deal with it. It's usually rough because a lot of people lose a lot of cards that they really like. Because again, Charizard EX, Gardevoir, Golden Go, they are all going. Joltik Box. All of the main cards from those decks are rotating, so they will no longer be functional. They will no longer exist, in fact. Same goes for Chen Pao, because Chen Pao is actually G. This is H, so that will be staying. This will be staying as well. This is also H. But you need to be very, very careful because a lot of cards are rotating, because this was a whole entire base set and a main set as well. So that's the shortest way I can explain rotation. And it's just a manner to keep power creep down. Because the eternal formats like Yu-Gi-Oh! Suffer from power creep a lot because they can't test a new card with every single old card in existence. But they can playtest with every card that will be available within 2 years of printing. Because when they make a new card, they can test it with the current standard and see if it has any bad interactions, adjust it, make it weaker, make it stronger, and then they keep doing that. So every set will be ready and playable with everything that comes afterward within that 2 years. And that's about it. There's nothing too big. Once you know your alphabet, you're good to go. There's a H. And that's it. The unfortunate thing is, like with this chance is H, which isn't the best, and this chance here is G, and this is amazing. So a lot getting lost, but we're also getting new sets, so don't be too disheartened. And all you can do is look to the future. Hope you found this useful, and see you in the next one.